Just like to add a little bit of context for the listeners, this is Jake Sherbrooke. He is one of the founding members of CboysTV, and we split ways, what, 3 years ago?
780,000 subscribers. You guys want to know something crazy? You have more followers that probably don't know who I am than...
But I guess, sure it was 780?
Yeah, it was 780. It was on April 12th, 2020. Wow.
Yeah, we've never told the story of, I guess, what happened between the splitting between CBoys and Jake, and here we are.
Now we get to tell it.
Time to tell the story.
Yeah, boys. Wasn't there kind of like you couldn't come on for a while?
Yeah, so that was the thing. So we're going to get into the beans of all this, but basically I could have came on right away and then ended up getting into like a massive lawsuit, and then everything gets into like disclosures and you can't talk about anything, and you know, it just all got super messy. Like, do you guys remember the time I came over here and you're like, hey, when can you get on the pod? I'm like, probably August. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so you've been in a lawsuit up until last month?
Yeah, a couple months ago.
Okay.
Like, it's crazy.
See, I've been refraining to even ask you, like, in real life, you know, what the details of that are. So I'm I guess not, I shouldn't say excited to hear, but also very intrigued to hear the story behind it. But gosh, I don't know. Where do we start?
Well, I mean, I think we could start with, I mean, part of the reason why you left also ties in with, you know, the guy who's been holding you back from getting on the podcast now for the last 2 years, who you were in the lawsuit against. But I mean, shit, where do we start?
Do we, because we can say anything, tell the whole story. Do we just want to like give a background of how this person came about?
We could start there, or we could even start from like just the good old days back before we were even making YouTube vids, just kind of give the backstory to...
Dude, I can't believe you said that. I literally created a timeline, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, all the way up until today.
All right, let me see it.
All right.
What do we got?
Well, they're basically... So they're kind of just footnotes of key points I want to talk to. But basically, like, 2016, we started CboysTV.
Yeah, okay, so CboysTV started... basically, we have been best friends. There was a group of 7 of us. We all lived in a town called Cormorant. Cormorant has a gas station, a liquor store, and a bar. There wasn't many people in the town. It's a village. There's actually no people in the town. So all the people that are our age, we were best friends. There were 7 of us. Us 4 sitting right here. Micah behind there. Ken, who's walking behind right now as well. And then our friend Justin. People ask, how did you guys start like doing the things that you do like in the videos? And I'm like, dude, we've been doing the things that we do in the videos since we were 10 years old. We just never filmed them until CJ picked up a camera because he had bad concussions. He couldn't ride a dirt bike, drift the cars, be in whatever we were doing, so he started filming it.
Yeah, that was kind of my way of getting being involved still, and but not doing like, you know, like crashing cars into each other and whatever.
And I feel like people always were like, you guys should have a TV show. You know, like all the stuff that we were doing at that time, YouTube wasn't as prevalent. So everyone was like, you guys need to be on TV. We're like, yeah, we do.
Yeah, we always thought that our group dynamic and our friendship was something special, that something that you would see on TV. And therefore, we always thought that we had something. And then once the videos started coming out, people were entertained. It turned from basically the 7 best friends just doing our weekend shenanigans for fun into making a video and really having no direction or really any idea on how to make a proper YouTube video. But what we were really good at was just having fun.
At that point, it was more so we were just doing whatever we were doing on the weekend, and I was just hauling this camera around with a strap on my neck because I was so worried about breaking it. It was like a $500 camera. And we'd bring it around and just film legitimately everything, whether it was like good, bad, whatever, you know, just...
It was just us doing us, no matter what it was.
And it was kind of like, these videos were almost for us. Like, it was just fun to watch, and they would end up on YouTube. And then very slowly, it just started gaining a following, and it was kind of like a snowball. It was like, and then there's this little audience, and then it was kind of like, well, now we had this positive reinforcement behind it. We're like, we got to keep making more. And it was fun. It was like a game growing it, you know?
Hey, Ryan, real quick, can you switch sides with me? My neck is so fucked up. I can't, like, look this way.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. His neck's jammed
Dude.
up from the mini truck flip.
I swear I put on deodorant, and it's not that bad.
You sweat? No.
Oh,
Is that better?
Tell me about your seat. Yeah, that's way better.
Oh, yeah,
Thank
I moved the bad seat.
Welcome, bro.
Oh, this feels way better.
Yeah, so I guess it needed to be said kind of where our, the foundation of C-Boys started. People think that we've been making videos and that's, we were never friends before, I guess, what they see video like week after week. But like the things that we do now, we've been doing since we were little kids and we were just best friends having a good time. When we started making the videos, and I remember we had a paycheck come in December of 2016 going into 2017, and it was for out of the whole year, I think we'd made $800.
It was like $1,100 or $1,200, but technically we hadn't been going that long because when I made the channel, it was like end of July, and then when we posted the one video that actually made some revenue, it was in like beginning of September. By the time it probably took off, maybe October. So like all that revenue was really just from that one shifter cart vid that popped off. And when I say popped off, it maybe had like 100,000 views. But
and then so we had to basically make a LLC to collect that $1,100, and then we didn't know what to do with it because we were like, who gets what? So we just donated it. We bought toys or whatever. We made a video with that. But at that moment, Ken was like, if we're going to start an LLC, who's going to be a part of it? And we were just like, well, all 7 of us. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Literally.
yeah,
And
we
that-
just split it 7 ways evenly across the board.
Yeah, I think everyone had like 14% or something like that. And then that was the start of CboysTV as a company, as like kind of what it is now, but 7 partners. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where the problem is.
Well, I mean, I think
the development of something great is what it was.
absolutely,
Exactly.
absolutely. And people have asked that. I mean, I even hear it sometimes now. Like if I get talking to some old guy about business, and they're like, "How do you make that work?" With 7 or 5 or whatever. But I mean, the whole point of it is because then everyone's got equal, gain and equal loss.
Right.
So like, because I mean, if there was just let's say 1 or 2 owners, then it's like our the way all of us work is like you want to be at least have some control or
Right.
whatever.
You go up together and you go down together.
Exactly,
So everyone's got to pull their side.
Yeah. So it just seemed that was the best way to do it, and it was.
From there, we started to get a little bit of traction. We're making videos. We're starting to kind of figure out what we're doing. Kind of.
I don't know if I'd say starting.
Well, I mean, we were at least on the right track.
Yeah.
And then this guy comes into our life and pitches us this TV show.
Which
Goosebumps, bro. Come on.
yeah, we were pumped though.
Yeah,
You gotta
we
think
were.
about this.
We were. At the time, like at the age we were, it was something big. No one has got something like that.
And
to come in
YouTube
front of them.
and YouTube wasn't quite as big as it is now. I think we could kind of see where it was going, but it still wasn't quite as big. And being on MTV seemed, or another big network like that seemed like that's the big break. You know, like that's like the end all be all type of thing. So we thought it was just the biggest deal. And I remember just sitting on these like Zoom phone calls, just geeking out.
Well, it started out with they pitched us that they were going to give us an MTV show. And then it turned into like Discovery Network. And then it turned into like Planet. Like
the Weather Channel.
What is it? The Weather Channel or like Animal Planet or something. We're like, whoa, what the fuck? Where's this going now?
The worst part is that we we're really close to that MTV show and we didn't get it because we weren't diverse enough. You can guess.
I don't know how accurate that is.
I
Well,
mean,
they were
that's what they
saying
told
that.
that's
us,
what.
yeah.
Okay, you're right. But that one seemed like it was the closest, and we were obviously most excited about that. And then from there, it was just like Discovery, Animal Planet. Like, what would we do on Animal Planet?
So that guy that came in and pitched the show, let's call him Bob.
I like that. Yes, Bob. Perfect.
So Bob comes in, pitches the show. we take basically like a month off of YouTube videos. And at the time, it really didn't make that much of a difference because we were a lot smaller, didn't really have a schedule or anything like that. But we filmed these. It's called a pilot episode, and it takes forever. Sucked. The ideas were terrible.
Oh,
I mean, how long after the initial talkings was it that we actually got to the pilot episode? Like a year, or was it 2?
it was a long time. I'm trying to think. Dude, the problem is it all just gets so slammed together. But I'm pretty sure we like started the talking, and then it wasn't till like we had our new shop when we started filming the pilot episode.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to figure out all of that. And because we were like using the shop and the Maverick and going out on DL and doing all that stuff.
So Bob comes in and starts working on this TV show. We filmed the pilot episode. It ends up not really going anywhere. And then this is like the craziest part that I always wonder about. But me and Ben were sitting in the shop. Do you remember this?
Bro, I remember it like it was yesterday. We had just gotten our truck
Wrapped and everything.
The Duramax. We were sitting in the Duramax in the shop. We were feeling good. We just got off some merch sales. We were like coming to the end of the year and made some money that year.
Yeah.
And we were like, damn, things are like going pretty good right now. And then that call came in.
Yeah. A call came in from Bob, and it's me and Ben. And we get in the truck, and we just set it up, and we just like,
He basically goes, how you guys doing?
yeah, like
And we go,
like a
great.
like a what's up call, you know? And basically he is like, oh, I got some ideas or whatever, and wanted to run by you guys and blah blah blah, and basically wanted to like come back. And that's when he said he wanted to like do something with all of us, right? And I'm trying to figure out how to integrate to like the audience of my mindset at the time. And I don't want to say it was like good or bad, but I was just in a kind of a weird headspace, And anyway, so this guy comes and basically says he wants to manage all of us, and
Like pulls our parents aside.
yeah,
Like was talking to my dad and your dad and was like, I want to manage them and here's what I can do for them, and like basically promise the world, like a lot of these people do for anyone, I guess, in our position. There's going to be so many people that try and get their greasy little fingers on you to like, because he saw something good. Because he was talking to us, how are things going? And we were like, things are going great. We're selling merch. The views were doing well. We finally were getting traction and like had something good. And he almost saw that as like an opportunity to like,
we were snowballing
yeah,
hard.
like get in on it. Like,
And dude, here's the thing, and I'm going to say this right now because obviously we're going to go through a bunch of ups and downs in this. You guys dodged a bullet, like so heavily.
So
Like the amount of, oh my God, I wish you guys, I actually don't wish you could experience what I had to experience through that entire time. It was terrible.
So that was after we shot the pilot episode. And we spent like, it was probably more like 2 months doing this pilot episode. And I mean, I guess I'll speak personally from my point. It was just a shitty ass episode. Like it just wasn't that good.
Yes.
I
it
think
never got picked up.
It never got picked up, of course, but it took us like 2 months of time. And I guess speaking from my point of view, after spending that amount of time with him and watching this guy work and actually seeing him work versus listening to him talk on the phone about how he can do all this stuff for us and how he's going to make us rich and all famous and all this. Then when he showed up and it was time to like get to filming, he didn't, in my opinion, I don't think he knew what he was doing.
And that's the thing, like you called it from the start and I'll never remember that, but I'm going to be like fully honest, transparent. I was straight bamboozled and was drinking the Kool-Aid, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so basically we did that pilot episode and it never got picked up. And then he came back in again. I finally thought we got rid of this guy because I was so annoyed of him because it seemed like every time he came in, he would hold up making YouTube vids. And we were at this stage. I'm like, we need to just keep pounding the pavement, keep growing this channel. Like we're going to get to this. And then he would just be here selling this fucking
what
Dream.
came to be
Dream.
a pipe
Yeah.
dream.
like you guys are
pipe
going to be
dream.
rich. And I guess also to keep in mind, like at that time, we weren't making money like individually. Like we were maybe selling some merch, but we had, I mean, by the time it was all done, being that we had a distributor that was doing it, it was like we were really taking no money in our pocket.
Right.
Which we, later figured out. And then once you do the numbers, there's a lot of stuff you learn when you're doing this as time goes on. And then we ended up pulling it in. But like, I mean, we were maybe making like $1,900 a month individually, like all of us, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So like we were hungry and we were looking for anything to cling on to make this work. So I can understand why you and even some of the other guys would be like, please, like, yes, we've been trying, like, we want this,
Yeah.
So it was easy to be bamboozled in that, like you said, I guess, in that sense.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's good to preface is like that. I mean, I was like half and half on it. I didn't have the read that you did either, and I was like, I mean, I think I'll listen, I'll hear him out, and it at the end of the day came to a majority vote, but it was never like Jake's vouching in your headspace and we're all like, nah. I mean, it was like we chatted about it and we went back and forth for a little bit. We had some in-person meetings and ultimately we took a vote.
It's a complex conversation to have for a bunch of 19-year-olds. We were young and we were going through it.
But basically what ended up happening was he came back in and he said like you said, the managing thing. He wants to manage us now and manage our YouTube channel. So he's not going to make a TV show for us anymore. He wants to manage our YouTube channel and then like try to pitch us to like some other company.
Right. So this might be fast forwarding, but then we can come back. So basically how our structure was going to be, we were basically, from what I was told, greenlit for a show with like other cast members, and we were going to use those funds to then build the channel or whatever, right? Well, obviously none of that happened, of course, but that was like the whole thought process behind when it came to all of us and me is like, we'll get these shows or whatever, or do these pilots, and then we'll use those to grow the channel and whatnot.
And you were closest with him because you guys were kind of like more buddies, I think. And he was kind of buddies with your dad over the course of time of spending time with you guys.
Yeah.
Like you guys
of
were
course.
buddies. So
Yeah.
you were
he
probably more in with him than us in that sense.
but he loved Jake.
Yeah.
He looked at Jake like his little superstar. That's what he saw. Like he came in, wanted to manage us, and then it got to the point where we were like, all right, we got to take a vote. Are we bringing him on or are we not? Jake really wanted him, and CJ really didn't want him. So I felt like I was in the middle of like, I have to like sway the decision of Ken, Micah, and Ryan with these guys. All right, which way are we going? And then I just went with CJ and I went with you and I took both of them. And my gut was just like, I don't have a good feeling about this guy. And I went with my gut and I told Micah, and I told Ken, and I told everyone. I said, my gut goes with CJ, and that I don't have a good feeling about this guy. And that's kind of where everyone else was like, it just doesn't feel right either. And I remember getting done with that meeting of everyone being like, all right, I guess it's just not the right fit. It doesn't feel right. And then we thought that's where it ended. And I remember you walking out of that meeting and going, sitting in your truck, and you hopped on the phone. And who'd you call? Did you call after that? Do you remember that meeting of all of us being like, it's just not gonna, we're not gonna bring him on?
That's the thing is like my mindset was so different then, but it like obviously doesn't change anything, but like I didn't really know how to feel or what to feel. Cause like beforehand, everyone's like thinking about it and whatnot, and then like I come into this meeting cause I don't know if I was working for my dad or whatever. And then you just like, I remember you up at the whiteboard and you dropped this bomb on me and we were like, yeah, we're not doing it. And I was like, oh, I thought yesterday we were. And we talked about it, but there was obviously a meeting beforehand, which like, I wasn't there every day, all day. I was doing other stuff, but yeah, I don't know. It was like prior to that, cause I was been talking to Ryan too. And you probably remember this. He'd just be like, dude, like what's going on? Like, are you down or whatever? And I just, like something felt off with me, and it wasn't that like I wasn't having fun, because like when we go out and film, like I had a shit ton of fun and I loved all of that stuff, but I felt like I wasn't growing myself as a person, as like a business person, learning things, stuff like that. I just felt like I was growing this character or persona that like was still me, but it wasn't me all the time, and I just didn't want to live that my whole life, That's when I was just like, I think I'm going to go on a chance here, you know, and try something different. And then it was April 12th. I brought all you guys up into Mike's room, and I like told you guys I was leaving. And then April 13th was the last video I filmed with you guys at Tom's store when we all pretended to work there.
So you went to said they don't want to bring you on, but I want to?
Because the day I told you guys was obviously the day that like a decision was made or whatever, that like something was going to happen, something was in place, there was a plan, right? Mm-hmm. And like there was a show greenlit, and I was obviously pitched this grand rainbow of a master plan, you know, and I was just like, you know, like I think I want to do this. Maybe it's like the next step into like having a mentor in life, or like learning the business career or something different, you know, and like maybe trying to like compound my happiness and fulfillment and like building me better as like a person, you know. And I said, okay, I'll do it. Like it'll just be us, you know. That's when he pitched me. He's like, well, let's just do it, me and you know. He's like, we can get other cast members and stuff like that. And yeah, so I just kind of went out on a limb and went with my gut feeling, which, holy shit. I couldn't have been farther from wrong on that one, I'll totally admit to. But that's the other thing too. I wouldn't change it for the world, because like the things I learned and the stuff I went through was like unbelievable, you know. And it kind of and when I say I wouldn't change it for the world, just the experiences I had, you know, the path and road that was took. Obviously there was some super greasy and ups and downs in there that we can talk about later, like what happened after I left and all that stuff.
Yeah.